Whether you're starting your freelance copywriting portfolio from scratch or you're just here to learn how to strengthen your portfolio so you can land higher paying freelance clients, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to create strong writing samples by choosing your niche, choosing the type of samples that will go into your portfolio, and where to host your portfolio. As a full-time freelance copywriter who has invoiced over 6 figures worth of copywriting projects, I've learned some things about how to create a stronger portfolio and what clients want to see. I've also been on the receiving end of writers pitching me with their portfolios because I've also hired and vetted teams of writers, edited their work. I can speak to exactly what makes a strong portfolio and give you some tips about what you should avoid. If you want to learn how to build a high-paying freelance writing business where you get to work from home, location independent, no commute, no boss, no office politics, this is the channel for you. I also share copywriting and content writing tips, so definitely make sure you subscribe so you're the first to get notified when I create a new video. You're going to start the portfolio creation process by getting clear on your niche. When I say copywriting niche, I mean the industry and the subject matter that you are going to write about. What is going to be your expertise? What type of copywriter are you? For example, I am a technology copywriter. I write about sales, engagement, technology, and I brand myself across my website and all of my marketing materials as a tech writer. And that's what you should be doing too. Choose your niche. And I have a lot of videos about helping you get clear on which niche you should choose. But once you have that direction, you are going to create a portfolio that is geared toward that niche. And this is really important because one of the number one mistakes that writers make is having a scattered portfolio with all of these different subjects and topics covered. And I know it's tempting, right? Because if you've been published, you want to show what you have been published on, show that you're a credible writer and that other people have published you. But controversial opinion, I actually think you should remove those portfolio pieces that aren't in line with the niche that you're trying to target. We want clients to hop on our portfolio and immediately look at our samples and say, oh, they've written for the same subject matters that I'm going to hire them for. Therefore, I know they're capable and I want to book a call with them and hire them and pay them. One of the biggest mistakes I see with freelance copywriters when they send me their portfolio is that the samples are not telling a cohesive story about what their expertise is. So you want to make sure that all of your pieces are aligned. Now, if you are a writer that has several niches, which is common, you at least want to separate those portfolios so that the client that's hiring you can instantly hop onto your portfolio, navigate to the pieces that they are looking for, and see immediately that you are right for the job. You want to separate those niches so that it's as easy for the client to navigate as possible. So I want to show you an example. I pulled up, first of all, I don't even know who this guy is, but he had such a great portfolio. He's a cybersecurity writer. And if you scroll down, he literally separated his portfolio by topic. From a client's perspective, if you were to look at this, it's like, oh, I'm an educational technology client. Let's see what he's written in my space. He has it really broken down by all the different types of technology work he's done. I mean, obviously this guy has been doing this for a really long time. Don't feel intimidated by that, but it's definitely something to aim for. Once you've chosen your niche, you're going to want to choose the type of work that you're going to put into the portfolio, the types of writing that you will include. I know for me in the beginning, I just included blog samples that I created on my own because I wanted to get my foot in the door as a blog writer. I have a video about why I believe blog writing is the best place to start as a freelance writer. I know technically blogs are considered content writing. I branded myself as a copywriter from the beginning. I find that it's easier to get your foot in the door with a more low commitment offer such as blog posts because they're easier to write. If you could write a high school essay, you can write a blog post. And once you get your foot in the door and prove to this client that you're reliable, then you can pitch other copywriting services such as email and landing page copy. If you are specifically wanting to target email writing clients or sales page writing clients, those are the type of samples you're going to include in your portfolio. If you want to write ads, you're going to create what is called spec ads. When I say the word spec, it just means that it's a sample that you created on your own to try to prove to the client that you're capable of doing that type of writing. Now, before you go and create your samples, you want to hold on one moment. You're going to take this one additional step. Not only are you going to create the samples that you want to most write in your business, you're going to go to your ideal client's website, look at the topics and the type of content that they're producing, and you're going to want to create something that is most similar to that. Then the client will look at that piece and say, oh yeah, they can produce blog posts very similar to the ones that we're assigning our writers right now, and I know that they're capable of doing it. You really want to match what you're going to produce to what they're already creating so that that connection is made. For me, I saw that one of the most popular article topics was building a tech stack. So I just went and I wrote my own portfolio piece called "Here are my top tech stack recommendations." It was really just meant to prove that I could write on that topic, that I have expertise in that topic, and it did work for me. Now you're going to go and create your own piece. I have some videos about how to write a blog post that I'll link in the description below. There's a lot of free resources online about how to write your own blog post. So a lot of people have questions like, where do I even write this document? You're going to do it in a Google Doc. What I would say is that to make it look as real as possible, you should create a blog banner in Canva. I'm going to show you on the screen what my samples looked like. They're pretty lame, but it still does the job. The key here is really to make your sample look like it has been published so that it just builds more credibility. It looks more polished. That first impression when a client discovers you is really important to see what level of professionalism you're bringing to the table. Looks and the presentation are really important here. If you can get somebody else to read your piece, it's probably going to be really hard for someone to edit that piece the way like a real writer would. But I think having a second set of eyes on your piece could go a long way in terms of at least pointing out what doesn't make sense or spelling errors. Use free software like Grammarly to correct your grammar. There is 2 other apps I'd like to recommend, which is Hemingway and WordTune, so that you can make your sentences more short and succinct. If you are a beginner writer, these are going to be really key to making sure that your writing comes across professional and comes across as high quality. Another hack is downloading an AI writing software like Content Edge that will literally create entire paragraphs for you that you can then go in and craft and edit to be more polished. Again, I can't even believe, because this really wasn't available to this extent when I first started. If I had known about AI copywriting software, I would have been able to create my samples in much less time and have the work kind of done for me. Check out Content Edge and try their free trial. See how it works for you. The thing with any writing AI is that it has to learn with you as you go. You train the software to be able to write better and better. So this is a piece of software that you're going to want to start using early and often so that it starts creating high quality content for you sooner. Now, once you've created your piece, it's proofread, you're going to want to add that Canva banner or any type of animation or graphics you can. Canva makes it easy for somebody like me who has zero graphic design ability to easily create something that makes your piece just look a little bit more polished and professional. So I would recommend creating a Canva banner, putting it on that blog post, and then you kind of have your finished piece. Now, what do you do next, right? Because we need to get this sample into the hands of your ideal clients. That's where hosting comes in. In my course, I teach you how to create your samples and host them. So let me just give you the paraphrased version of that, of the course module. Your freelance writing samples should be easy to access when they go on your writer's website. Therefore, you need to have a portfolio tab on your website in the navigation bar, something that makes it really easy for a client to click to. A client, when they get on your writer's website, will probably only look at 2 pages, which is your first page that they land on, which is your home page, and then they will navigate straight to your portfolio page. If they like what they see, they will look for a way to contact you. So you definitely want a lot of opportunities for them to contact you all over your website on basically every page. That portfolio piece needs to be right in the navigation bar. They need to be able to navigate to it in one click. If you've never been published, what I recommend, instead of linking directly out to portfolio pieces because you don't have them, right? You want to be able to have them click on that piece and then it navigate out to a free hosting platform like clippings.me. I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like from a user experience standpoint. And you might be wondering, like, why is this even necessary? Can I just put the PDF on my website? The thing is, it just is going to give the appearance of being more professional. It's going to look as though your samples are linking out to a website. They're most likely going to know that it's not, but it's just the user experience that a client is going to expect. And it's going to build that trust because you're going to look more professional and put together. This is where a lot of people get confused too. They're like, how do I visually present my portfolio? The way that a client is going to most easily digest it is to see a picture, a link, and a title. So that's why I always recommend clippings.me, which is the free hosting platform for portfolio pieces, because it automatically formats your samples into a picture, a link, and a title. So This is just how we consume information in a really user-friendly way. Comment down below and tell me where you're at in terms of your writing portfolio. Are you just looking to improve your writing portfolio, or are you actually starting from scratch? I'm always curious to know where people are in the process so I can create better content. Now I'm going to give you some general portfolio mistakes to avoid so that you don't fall into these common pitfalls that I see. Like I said in the beginning of the video, having all these disparate, diverse content types, if the person sees that you've been published, that doesn't mean that they see that you are right for their type of writing. So you want to make sure that you are niched down. Number two is that the ability to navigate your site and access the portfolio piece is really the most important part. So before you get super bogged down in building a website and doing all of this stuff and hosting the samples, don't get overwhelmed. You want to just ask yourself, can a third grader get onto my samples, navigate them, and understand this is what I do? User experience is the most important part of all of this. Also, keep in mind that for the most part, clients really just skim your samples. Nobody has the time to sit there and read through it in depth. So you want to make your samples the most impactful samples you have, your best writing, what you're most proud of. But also keep in mind that they're most likely looking at a few key things: who you were published by, what the topic and the headline of the piece was, and the first few words or sentences. Here's another really important tip if you want to succeed with cold pitching and sending your samples to clients. Like I said earlier, you only want to include the pieces that you're most proud of. You want to keep your portfolio pretty succinct. Nobody is going to have the time to dig through a ton of portfolio pieces to find what they need. So definitely limit the amount in your portfolio. Don't obsess about how many samples exactly you need, just enough to get the point across without including every piece of work you've ever done. When you are cold pitching clients, and on this channel, I talk a ton about cold pitching. That's the majority of what I teach on this channel. You're going to want to pull specific portfolio pieces that pertain to the client. So one of the worst things you can do is cold pitch and just say, here's my portfolio, go wild with it. You want to show that you are personalizing your cold pitch, that you are really targeting them specifically. You want to do the work for them and say, hey, here's my full portfolio if you want to review, but here are the 2 samples that I think most pertain to you and your company. That way, you're making it as easy as possible for them to see that you're right for the job, and it shows that you put that extra thought in to make their life easier. Another big question I get is, how do I host my samples if I don't have permission from the client to put these samples publicly? Now, as a ghostwriter myself and somebody who writes sales emails, it is not easy for me to just put my writing all over the internet. It's just kind of private. It's private information for certain companies. What you want to do is have the bulk of your portfolio stored in a private or unlisted Google Doc that you can send, but it's not widely available online. Something else you can do to safeguard yourself is put language in your contract that gives you the right to share portfolio pieces in order to build your freelance business. Now, if you're looking for copywriting portfolio inspiration, you're going to want to check this video right here, where I talk about the types of writing I do in my freelance business and how much I get paid for each service. I think that's something that guides and inspires a lot of writers who are just getting into this, or maybe are getting underpaid and want to see what the potential is. I tell you the types of writing I do, how much I charge for it, whether I like doing it or not. And I think that will also help you in the portfolio creation process to choose what type of pieces you want to create and what type of writing you want to do. But good luck on your portfolio, and thank you so much for joining me. See ya.